Hello, and welcome to the Iaconian Archives. I am the archivist, your host and reader. In this episode, I will be sharing an excerpt from Two Birds on a Wire by author Arcanamagnus, a tale of marital bliss and devotion from the Transformers Victory universe. So pour yourself a glass of Enjex, get comfortable at your console or in your berth, close your optics, and let's enter the archives. Loneliness was a special kind of torture, Deathsaurus thought, and he'd have Star Saber's head for it. He wasn't alone, per se. His troops, incompetent as they were with him for better or worse. But his nest in the Thunder Arrow felt a little too large, a little too empty when he retired to his chambers after a long day of commanding. Tiger Breast and Eagle Breast cuddled him well enough, but if that was all that Esmeral could give him, he wouldn't have married her. No, his wife had a hold so profound on his spark and life that, without her to keep him in check, it felt like it was all slipping away from his hands. He ruled and reigned with an iron fist, but still, it left something to be desired without Esmeral's tempering. Her incredible resource management skills and eye for architecture and shipbuilding were sorely missed in his army, however important they might be in mitigating what no doubt was a crisis situation for their civilians. He'd hesitated at first in forming a relationship with one of his officers, but still, Esmeral's kindness and wit won him over, and suddenly strategy meetings weren't so strategical anymore. Deathsaurus remembered well their first attempt at a kiss, how the beaks of their helms bumped and they had to settle for an awkward nuzzle that quickly became their preferred token of affection. Esmeral never stopped being business, but they could fill in the rest of their time with idle hands and conversation. How he missed his beautiful Empress and her clever words and gentle hands and genuine revolutionary fire that Deathsaurus doubted even Megatron in his prime could have rivaled. He missed how she'd speak to their subjects, ad-libbed, and still managed to commit no gaffes. How she'd pull him down by the head fins and tell him straight up when she thought he was being foolish. His wife was a marvelous ruler and wonderful lover who could tear his empire to pieces if she so wished, and yet she chose to be the stabilizing backstrut that kept it aloft. She could tear him to pieces, too, Deathsaurus knew, and still that strength was reserved for giving him the protective tenderness he secretly craved, and for absolutely slagging those that dared threaten the Decepticon vision when it came to it. No one before her had the size or the gall to treat him like he's small. She was a head shorter than him in root mode, yes, but her slender, long-necked beast mode easily towered over his. She'd curl around him when they recharged in their alts, and wrap her arms around his middle and nuzzle between his wings when not. Deathsaurus shivered to remember how sweet it was to have her softly stroke his face and chirp nonsense into his audiols as she slowly and tenderly drove into him. She'd be rougher if he asked, but he usually didn't. His quarters on the Thunder Arrow felt stifling, empty, so he stayed on the command chair, tall and proud, watching his minions go about their miserable business and dreaming of how Esmeral would set them straight once more when the fortress was retrieved. You can find this story posted in its entirety at archiveofourown.org, along with nearly 40,000 original Transformers transformative works. Give it a read and let the author know what you thought. Comments and kudos encourage authors to keep producing their art. Please subscribe to this channel and you'll know when new videos are posted. As always, comments and suggestions are welcome below. If you would like to suggest a story or a selection from a longer fanfic for reading here on the Iaconian Archives, please view our video from the archivist suggesting content, and you could hear me read some of your favorite Transformers fanfiction. From tonight's author and myself, thank you for your time and support.